So, you remember the slide that we looked at last week on Claire Young's, our designer maker? If you look at that slide again and you have a look at the image in the centre where she's got all her lovely insects and bugs with all those super patterns, that's a similar thing to what we're going to do next week. We're going to be making our final bugs. So this week we've got to do a little bit of designing and start thinking about some of the shapes that we want to create. So your brief is to design your own inspirational insect using the research you've completed on your 4 different bugs. So I'd like you to choose to combine some of the elements of the 4 different insects. Your insect must look like an insect, okay? So try and think about that. And I've included on a slide that says bug rules, the rules that you need to adhere by, okay? So let's look at the bug rules. Your insect, unless it's a caterpillar, must have 6 legs, okay? We all know insects have 6 legs. It needs to have antennae. You need to have 3 body parts, okay? So you've got the main body part, you've got that front section, and then you've also got the head section, okay? So there's 3 separate body parts, okay? Now, if you've got wings, then they need to be symmetrical. So think about them being the same on both sides. So I've put down a top tip. Use colours that connect with the colours of your chosen insect. We'll be talking more about that next week. And also use body parts on the slide that I provided you with to help if you're struggling to work out how to divide up your body parts or how to create your insect. That slide should help you. Okay, so you need to try and think about your insect being 3-dimensional. I'd like it to try and stand up on those legs if at all possible. So this is all just thoughts you need to have in your head while you're thinking about sketching your design ideas this week. And we're going to use the paper and the marks that we made and the patterns on the samples that we did last week to create our bugs next week, okay? But this week we are just creating template shapes and some sketch ideas, okay? Hello, wonderful ladies. Okay, so this week we are going to be creating our own inspirational insect. Now, we're going to do this from looking at your research that you did, your lovely page research. So you have chosen me some beautiful images. You have created some information about those images, some facts that you found out, and then you've also done some really lovely drawings. And in drawing those insects, you're really observing and thinking about the beautiful shapes that are created by these insects. So what we need to do now is start thinking about creating our own inspirational insect, picking out some of the key elements of each of these different insects to create one new different insect, okay? So what I've done already, just to speed things up, is looked at these and I've just done a really rough sketch of some of the different shapes that I like of these insects. I like the wings of the bee. I like the legs of the grasshopper. I like the antennae of the amazing little cockchafer bug, and I like the head shape of the grasshopper and the eye of the grasshopper, but also the shell casing, the wing casing of that little bug, that cockchafer bug. And I've also picked out the underwing, the red underwing of that lovely Jersey tiger moth there. Okay, so it's just the underwing. Now, what we're going to do with these is I want you to start thinking about how you can create your own bugs. So today's lesson is really just going to be a drawing task. So you can use your sketchbook pages and just sketch out some different bugs. What might they look like? So these are our dissected component parts. And then you're going to sketch what the bug might look like. So I might have, using all of these, I might decide that my bug's going to have these sort of shell casing wings. I might do a sort of plan view initially, because that's always a good place to start, a plan view of the bug. I quite like the fuzzy bit of the bumblebee, so I might have that next. So you're thinking about how these bugs are created, what's the different component body parts use the slide that I've given you of all the different body parts just to try and get your head around what bits you need, because we're going to try and make these in 3D next week. So we're then going to have the kind of head shape of the grasshopper on there, and because I'm doing plan view, I'm just going to do his eyes like from the top here, and there's the stripes going down the back, and I'm just doing these rough. Then what else have I got on here? The antennae are going to stick out here, the feathery antennae. Legs, haven't we? Oh, I'd like to put the bees' wings on as well, because I think they can go over the top. Lots of insects have like double layers of wings. Some beetles that look just like beetles they're actually wing casings that open and then they have wings underneath. So you can design all sorts of crazy things. So I'm just going to put the bumblebee wings on top here, sort of going over the top. Let me think about how this goes. So it's going to work. And then we need the grasshopper legs. So you're going to have to look backwards and forwards at your images as well as your drawing that you're doing. This is really a way for you to start thinking about how things work in 3 dimensions. And I've put on your PowerPoint slide, if you want to sketch them side on and plan view and side view, so like head on, then you can, because it's a really good way of seeing how everything works together if you've got 3 different views of it. So you might want to start with a plan view and then think, what's that going to look like side on, or what's it going to look like head on, and just see if you can sketch it out. It's quite good. Some of you will find this easier than others. That's fine, just have a go. It's up to you. You can make as many designs as you'd like. You don't have to just stick to one, because you might, but you will have to just choose one that you're going to make for next week. So think about the bug rules that I created for you. So they are to think about things like symmetry. Lots of insects have symmetry as an idea, so one side is exactly the same as the other side. Okay, when you're actually making these, you don't have to make them perfectly symmetrical, but you can use the same textures, the same kinds of patterns on both sides just to make it look symmetrical. Because as you will have seen when you did your research, there are so many different insects. So we've got the bee's wings, the grasshopper's legs, the cockchafer's wing casings, the fluffy bee's body section, and then we've got the grasshopper's head and eyes, and the cockchafer's antennae. Elements of all 4 insects that you've researched. So we're planning and designing this week. So you should have sketch designs, and then you may also have a piece of paper with the component parts on it, like this, ready for next week when we can start cutting out templates and actually start building these together, and we're going to do that together. Okay, have fun!